There is enough meat in that Sri Lankan middle order to seal this win. They win this game against Bangladesh by 5 wickets. The defending champion Sri Lanka getting off to a flyer. Now this loss could be very, very costly for Bangladesh. The third team in this group is Afghanistan. Remember, it's the group of death, and this is how it all ended. Only 164 on the board, 4 wickets for Pathirana. Sri Lanka were in a bit of a spot at the start of the innings, but then it was Sadira Samara Vikrama and then Charith Asalanka who took them home. 62 not out. It was Sri Lanka all the way. 165 for 5 with 11 overs to spare. A big win, two big experts. Zaheer Khan and Bhattacharjya in the house. It was never going to be much trouble with just 165 to chase.
Yeah, but Bangladesh started well. You have to give them that credit with the new ball. They showed that intent. They were there up for the fight, but the total was not enough, and that was evident. So at some stage, as the partnership was building, you knew that it's just a matter of time that Sri Lanka is going to close it.
That Kusal Mendes innings was a strange one. It could have derailed this journey.
Yeah, it could have. The fact that he just couldn't get the ball off the pitch, and he just didn't know what he was doing. 5 in 21 balls, and you see, one of the things was that 43 for 3, I think it was in 9.2. At that point, had a couple more overs gone without too many runs being scored, a little more pressure. At that point in time, I think brilliant innings. I mean, Samara Vikrama, the way he played at that point in time, I think was really important because he changed the look of the game. And after that, when the next wicket fell by 121, look, after that you need to be, they needed a miracle. I think by that time the game was already out of Bangladesh.
Yes, Taskin Ahmed seemed to give it all. On the broadcast, they showed his pitch map and how quickly he changed that length to get rid of Karunaratne, bowled it fuller, and it paid off.
Yeah, he was building nice cluster of those deliveries on that shot of a good length, and he was getting that extra bounce also. He's sharp. You can see that he really likes to hit the deck hard and looks to extract that extra bounce. But then he is smart enough to get that one really pitched full. Yeah. And when I'm saying full, it's not really full as well. It's like just about perfect delivery, perfect length. He's been doing that. So that's the pattern which I've seen with his bowling, and the control which is there is decent enough, for him to give that consistency. So he's been very consistent for Bangladesh. With the wicket-taking ability, with the new ball especially.
Let's talk about what worked for Sri Lanka. Sadira Samara Vikrama was hardly spoken about in any match preview. Everyone spoke about Asalanka and the others, and there was a lot of talk around Pathum Nisanka as well. But Samara Vikrama, his first 3 scoring shots were 3 gorgeous boundaries. 2 of Taskin Ahmed and 1 of Sharif Islam. It just looked like he was in the zone today.
So yeah, and Samara Vikrama in domestic Sri Lankan cricket since 2014, he's been regarded as a force. And again, as you've seen, there's some players who look really good when they're hitting the ball. He looks really good. So in many ways, in these last 9 years, he's not really fulfilled the promise that he's always looked to have. Because for a player of that class to be in and out of the team shows you that, they have questions being asked about his temperament. That is he the kind of player who can sort of, in the big occasion, do it. And I think today was an important match for him. 43 for 3 is a really big occasion. Because remember one thing, you're actually one batter short. Hasaranga is not there batting at the end of the order.
Yep.
So you're one batsman short, you need to get it finished off. You're 43 for 3, one more wicket, things can change very fast. That's where he got.
Yes, he came in when they were in a bit of a spot, but he just seemed unfazed, Zach. It was like, I'm here to back myself and I'll just go for the shots if the ball is there to hit.
Yeah, that's very important that you don't get bogged down in these small run chases, isn't it? Like, you can actually, and especially after that kind of start, once the opposition, what they really required was to get wickets with the new ball. We did speak about that in the mid show, where a panic can set in a dressing room, chasing a small total, and then pressure really brings out those wickets. And to avoid that, you want someone to bat with that freedom, bat with that ease, which Sadira did. I think so that partnership with Asalanka was very crucial one.
Asalanka played within himself. You picked him as the player to watch out for. It seemed like a risk-free innings. He didn't allow the wicket of Samara Vikrama to bother him, and he made sure that the team crosses the finish line.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, we have been talking about it. Him and Nisanke have been really the stalwarts for this team. They're the most dependable players. Nisanke up front, Asalanka out here. Left-hander does everything really well. And the important thing is that he even when you look at the qualifier matches, he's ended up not out in a lot of matches, finishing matches for them. And players who like and enjoy finishing matches are players who are very important for their team because they stay there till that last ball is hit. But again, one of the things that Hathura Singh will be telling his Bangladesh team is saying that you have a 43 for 3. Now you were in a situation where you batted for 42.4 overs. Had you even just closed your shutters down in the, after losing 7 and crawled on, you might have reached 200.
Yep.
Okay. When that situation, another 40 runs would have put a lot more pressure under Sri Lanka. As it turned out, the run rate never went above 4.5. Yeah. So no matter how much pressure I put, if they can just keep playing the ball out and they don't need to take any chances, it's very difficult. So that's one thing, that even when wickets are falling, do not allow yourself to be bowled out in a 50 over match.
Yes, Dhananjay De Silva got out at the score of 128 at the end of the 31st over. Who knows if they had 30-40 more runs? Sri Lanka did not have Hasaranga. It could have been a completely different result.
Yeah, look, I mean, you talk about the pressures of the game and you got to create those situations for you. And what happens also in this format, when you're playing white ball, when you're playing a ODI, you kind of think of those big scores. So you want to keep up the tempo as early as possible in that innings. And if you lose wickets, which we've seen actually, both the games we've seen that happen. Even with Pakistan, when they were playing against Nepal,
yep.
They lost wickets, and then suddenly you have to really focus, you have to really grind it through. That's what we've seen with Iftikhar and Babar also in that match. Yeah. I think that is going to be the pattern if the wickets are going to be on this side. There will be if the wickets are too paced, you have to change that template a touch bit. You have to adapt to the conditions, and that's something which we'll see in this tournament going forward if the pitches are going to be of this nature. So right now for Bangladesh, they will be thinking of the same thing. Just about building partnerships. The real thing which was missing in Bangladesh innings was partnership. You just had Shanto carrying the innings. He was grinding from one side. Was willing to spend time on the pitch. But he didn't get that support. You need to have those partnerships. If you have 2 partnerships, 3 partnerships, you get to that 250 run total. So for Sri Lanka, I think I would say, even though things are looking this way and you feel that okay, 30-40 runs would have put them under further pressure, but I think still they were the favourites to win this game, I would say.
Yes, that phase between 11 and 20 where they did not lose any wickets, the asking rate was not very high, and that is why they were able to stitch together an innings which helped them sail through. Now, he spoke about how this could be a template. There's a lot of chat about the future of this format and how it can get a bit tiring to watch it. But from a player's perspective, they shouldn't worry about box office. They should maybe just stay there and ones and twos.
Players are not bothered about all that.
Yeah.
The only problem is that because they play so much T20 cricket, the temptation to get on with it is much more.
Yeah.
And therefore the pacing, what he's talking about, Zach, the pacing of an innings is very different. There's one other factor out here. Look at the match in Pakistan, look at the boundary sizes in Pakistan, look at the kind of pitch in Pakistan, and look at the pitches in Sri Lanka. So this is what you call a schizophrenic tournament. You're going to have 2 very different kinds of surfaces. There's the 300 plus surfaces which are absolute belters, which are going to be played out there. And you're going to have surfaces out here which may be a bit too paced, which may be a bit difficult, rain in the horizon, a bit sticky, large boundaries. So whoever is playing here, Pakistan will play there, then they'll come out here. This will be very different conditions from how they played their first match.
But those who played in the IPL should be used to different conditions, right? They play on all kinds of surfaces in the IPL. Boundary distances are also different. Especially the Indian and the Sri Lankans will be used to a variety of conditions. Not so much the Pakistanis.
You got to adapt, and that's why you do those practice sessions, especially when you're playing in different grounds. You got to go out there, just get the feel of things. Maybe see other games, that's definitely going to give you that slight bit of hint. All these players, especially the experienced players, they're used to seeing different pitches, understanding, and maybe, having that kind of a discussion. I think what is really important is that you need to have that flexibility of adapting your approach also.
Yep.
That slight fine tuning is going to be very critical for all the teams right now if the pitches are going to be this way, because you're so used to playing in that one style, isn't it? When there's no sideways movement, the ball is not stopping. It's a nice belter wicket. Then you can actually play shots with freedom. The bowlers are also on the defensive, but the moment you're going to take wickets, that really changes the way game moves. and the game, the way mindset also changes. So as a bowling unit also, I think you saw Alan Donald there, trying to have those conversations, because for Bangladesh, that's what was required, isn't it?
Yep.
To have that edge. If they had to stay in the game, they had to take wickets, and you've seen the impact of that. Like we were expecting the game to finish much earlier, but Bangladesh bowlers were willing to fight. They were willing to show that good attitude, I would say. This is very important, that it doesn't matter where you stand, you got to still have that belief, and you still got to go out there and give it all. It's not about putting the blame game that okay, you don't have enough runs, or saying that okay, our batting failed. You play the team sport, so you got to be able to bail the other unit out, and today they gave themselves definitely that chance of making the match out of it.
25 of those 39 overs in the second innings were bowled by spinners. Mehdi Hasan bowled 10, the other Mehdi Hasan bowled 5, and Shakib Al Hasan, I believe, bowled 10. Only 7 from Tuscan. Were you surprised a bit? Should he have bowled his full quota?
Well, I think
much like Sri Lanka used his strike bowlers in that middle phase.
I think you can't really look into it that much. I think Shakib Al Hasan tried to rotate his bowlers in the most efficient way possible. It's just that the total was less. I was just happy to see the way the bowlers were running in, the way they were having that belief, and that's what you expect, in matches like these, because you don't want to be out there just going through the motions, and then giving Sri Lanka that much of boost and confidence also of really taking the team out.
When you lose by 5 wickets, your next game becomes a must-win. Not just to win, it's got to be a massive win. But this bowling card seems to have enough quality in order to be able to trouble Afghanistan in the second game.
That's what was the one thing I wanted to know. Where is the Afghanistan-Bangladesh match being held?
I know.
Is it, if the match is being held in these conditions?
It's in Lahore on Sunday.
That may not be so. They would have preferred it to be somewhere playing here. That is the crucial factor, because if you're playing out here, I think that this Bangladesh attack is better suited for these conditions than it is for Lahore. Though Tuscan and all are very decent fast bowlers, but the kind of Shakib, what he can do out here, perhaps Lahore is a flatter surface. He's very experienced.
Yep.
And traditionally Afghan batsmen have been aggressive batsmen. They like the ball coming on.
Yep.
Pitches like this, they might have struggled. In Lahore, I think the odds are far more even than they would have been. I mean, Bangladesh would have preferred to have played this in this particular pitch.
The stumping we saw of Samara Vikrama, I don't know what the ball did. There was a beautiful dismissal to get rid of Samara Vikrama from Mehdi Hasan Miraz.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of the balls we've seen today, one him. The others, Thikshana's that ball in the first over, which was absolutely superb. Absolutely superb. And having somebody of his quality come up front with a mystery ball which you can't read. I mean, can you imagine? You're making your debut. The first thing you see, you're expecting a fast ball who will put it on length. And you further have a mystery spinner you've never seen in your life. And you feel really bad for this young man, Tanzit. But I hope he learns from it.
Shakib captaining an ODI side after 6 years. He bowled his full quota of 10. Result aside, he looked like he was switched on, and he wanted to give it all he had as a captain, as a bowler.
No, that you expect from him, and I think he will do a good job of it. There is no doubt surrounding that. But I think he has to contribute with the bat. That's something which is very important. And as a captain, if you're not among the runs, that pressure eventually goes on your captaincy as well. How you're seeing things, because you're subconsciously also thinking about all those aspects. He's the most experienced player in that lineup. And he's been around for enough number of games to know exactly what is required. But I think he'll do a good job with the team.
Well, Sri Lanka look like they are on course. Apart from Pakistan, they seem to be a team that wants to repeat their feat from the last Asia Cup. They are the defending champions. Remember, Friday is going to be an off day. It will be perhaps the lull before the storm. India versus Pakistan on Saturday at the very stadium that we saw action today, the Palikkale International Stadium. The third match of the Asia Cup, Pakistan versus India. Pakistan playing their second game. They completely brushed aside Nepal in their opening game. A massive win for them. India will have to hit the ground running because Shaheen Shah Afridi is in the mood, Zach.
Well, the pace battery of Pakistan, I would say, and add Shadab to that. So the bowling lineup has looked good.
Yep.
And they've been very consistent in this format. Also, they've been winning more matches than not. So that is something which is going for them. It is definitely going to be a great encounter. But the good thing with India-Pakistan games for both the teams, as team management, you don't have to do much. Everyone is up for the game. Everyone is looking forward to the occasion. It's an experience to play these kind of games. So I think for the guys who have not been part of these battles, for them it's going to be a very exciting one. It's going to be some nervousness also from both sides, but it's also a very exciting and a memorable occasion for both the team players.
And Pakistan won't be lulled into believing that this opposition is going to be anywhere close to what they got yesterday.
I have 3 letters for you. B-I-B. Bumrah is back.
Yes.
Bumrah is back. This is a very different opposition. This is a very different Indian team also, because Bumrah, Shami, all these guys returning. This is also, I mean, yes, Shaheen Shah, Afridi and all are great bowlers, but just look at the bowling attack that you have on our side. Bumrah, Shami, Siraj, Kuldeep, perhaps Ravindra Jadeja, Hardik Pandya to follow up. You have a very potent bowling attack as well. Pakistan top 3 is a good top 3. And look, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Shubman Gill, these are really class batsmen. Suryakumar has not really had the last few one-day internationals the way you'd want him to have. But this is an extremely strong side as well. This is the side we are taking in for the World Cup. Almost all the players from the World Cup squad will come from here.
KL Rahul will not be available for the first 2 games. He's being serviced at this moment by the NCA in Bengaluru. He will join the team after the first 2 games are played for the Super Fours. This game and therefore is very important for someone like Ishan Kishan as well, because he's not a certainty for the World Cup.
Yeah, Ishan Kishan and Shreyas Iyer, I would
Yes.
say. He's also making his comeback. Bumrah, we've seen what he has done in the Ireland. Prasidh Krishna was also there. So the injury list which was there at NCA now, taking the field for India, is basically ticking those boxes. So from that point of view, Shreyas Iyer, it's a big day for him. When he's playing this game, there will be a lot of pressure on him also. And for Ishan Kishan, I think he will be batting out of position for him. So that how he adapts is going to be the crucial factor which everyone will be keeping an eye on.
Yep.
Because that's the interesting thing, that Ishan Kishan, I would like that they play it. Let him play out of position, then move the entire team around like a chessboard. You know what I'm saying? That if we are saying that our World Cup opening combination is Rohit and Shubman, let's not change that because Ishan Kishan is playing and Ishan Kishan is better off at opening than at 4. So if he plays out of, I'd rather he play out of position for this match, and maybe KL Rahul gets a chance later.
Also to a certain degree, I would say that he's almost going to make it to the World Cup squad, because he's going to provide that flexibility as well. That flexibility is going to be very important. You only have 15 spots there going in the World Cup. So you got to be smart in picking up those 15-member squad and to cover all the bases. So Ishan Kishan is going to have that double advantage of wicket keeping and also providing that crucial backup to the top order. So something happens to the top order, if anyone is going to miss any of the games because of any reasons, the injury or whatsoever, then you have that spot to be filled. So Ishan Kishan is good with that because he's going to provide that. He scored a double 100, mind you, and Shubman also. Then basically the management decided that Shubman is going to be our opener, and then he responded to that call brilliantly with a double 100.
Yep.
So I think these guys
and then got dropped the next game, I think.
Yeah. So all those things. So you kind of see the leading up, and you would expect that consistency from the management. As long as they're consistent, the think tank, then that's what you want to see from outside. So looking at all those things, I think Ishan Kishan will be there.
Is Suryakumar Yadav the most vulnerable of this batting pack from a selection point of view?
Not at all. Not at all. I think it's about how you're looking at things, right? He's going to be that X factor player. If you ask me, the way his approach is to the game, the way he has taken T20 by storm, and T20 and one day is not much of a difference. Yes, there is that slight bit of adjustment, but you can actually look at him as a phase player. So you have to figure out a role for him. You have to have that very clearly defined. But to me, he is an X factor player, which should be given, which the management must take the pressure off. Yep. So even we talking right now, don't have to look at it too much into numbers. You can't just keep looking at numbers. By that logic, then you have to just go look at the first class team and all the players which are playing and performing consistently. They should be getting a go ahead. So yes, numbers are important. Yes, you have to take into consideration. You have to give fair chances to people. All those aspects are also there. But you're talking about a tournament like World Cup, where not only just how you how your skill sets are going to respond to the occasion, but also how you're going to deal with the occasions, how you're going to absorb that pressure. Are you going to be overwhelmed with those crucial matches? All those aspects also needs to be taken into consideration.
I, for one, and I've said this on record on Twitter, that Sky could be very crucial to India's campaign in the World Cup. But from a selector's point of view, for Rahul Dravid, for Ajit Agarkar and for Rohit Sharma, how crucial is this Saturday going to be? Is it going to give them enough clues and cues on where things are headed?
I don't think so. I don't think they're going to play this tournament, they're going to play it through, they're going to play this thing. But my point is, say somebody like a Surya Kumar Yadav, okay? I look at it from a totally different angle. Let me put you in a situation. If you were the Pakistan coach or if you the Australian coach, would you rather see Surya Kumar Yadav playing against you or not? And I promise you that most opposition would look at it and say, I don't want this guy. Yep. If they don't play this guy, because the upside that Surya Kumar Yadav gives you is very high. There could be a downside. He could get out cheap. But if he gets going, the upside is very high. Very high upside players you have to find a way to accommodate them because they are very special talents. So I think that's one thing you look at. Secondly, I think now our team for the World Cup, I feel, is set barring injury. The way they're looking at it is saying, we want to win this tournament. I don't think we're playing this tournament just as a tournament just to play. And I think what we are trying to do is say, settle into your positions. It's not that are you going to play or not going to play, settle in, get used to playing here, get used to opening, get used to playing together, get used to sharing the new ball. Shiraj, you're not going to get the new ball, you're going to get it after Shami is. Or Shami, you're going to come in first change, Shiraj is going to get the new ball. Get used to playing because you are the guys who are going to play the World Cup. I don't think the chopping and changing they want to even think about. You don't want players so early to be topping and thinking of chopping and changing.
There are a lot of fans on social media and otherwise who are saying Tilak Verma is a punt India must take for the World Cup. Where are you on that?
Well, I think it depends on how Shreyas is responding. I think so that's the point which I was trying to make earlier.
Yeah.
When you're talking about the same thing, leading up in today's match, I was thinking, when you have say two players right now, KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer, which are coming from a long layoff, maybe not enough game time under their belt. So how are you going to look at the situation? And they both are going to bat at, if they play at any stage, it's going to be number 4, number 5. So you can create that gap, you can create that hole also, and that is something which you got to be wary of. So to avoid that and to add that tactical advantage also of just slipping in that left-hander when otherwise the batting order is going to be all right-handed. So tactically teams will look at using left arm spinner against you in that middle phase, especially maybe bring in the leg spinner also. So those kind of things you got to think about. And when you are looking at the scenario under that lens, it's going to be very tempting. I think that's going to be the longest discussion of this selection panel when they're going to sit on 5th of September, I guess, to figure out, because most of the players are going to pick themselves up.
Yep.
It's just about that 1-2 slot, about how you're looking at it.
Right. Now that we've discussed the Indian batting conundrum threadbare, how about we get Zaheer Khan and Bhattacharjya to give us their playing 11, their India playing 11 for this opening game against Pakistan. Let's take a look at the India squad. And Zaheer bhai, who are your 11?
Well, we'll start from the bowlers. I would love to see Bumrah, Shami and Siraj playing together. That is going to be a good attack, and you're going to have Ravindra Jadeja as spinner along with Kuldeep is what you're expecting. Hardik is going to be very crucial with his overs and batting at number 6, and Shreyas is someone who everyone will be looking at very closely, and the top 3 are going to be the same, right? So top 4 there, I think, are going to be the 4. with Hardik at number 6. So you still have that number 5 spot to be open, and I think you will need a wicket keeper. So I think it's going to go to Ishan Kishan. He will be batting out of position, but that's something which you'll see on the day.
Joy for you?
Exactly the same. I mean, I would have liked to see Suryakumar Yadav play, but how can you do it? If you're going to test Shreyas out at 4, okay, you're left without a keeper. So you have to play Ishan at 5. Whether you bat him at 5 or you have to bat Shreyas at 4 because that's where you want him to bat in the tournament. So you bat Ishan at 5 and then you have no choice because Hardik has to be tried out, Jadeja has to be tried out, and you have 3 fast bowlers. Kuldeep is our lead spinner at this point in time. You have to give our 3 fast bowlers a chance to bowl together.
Batting ends at 7 with this combination. Batting ends at 7 with Jadeja. That's okay?
It doesn't end.
Well, I mean, with due respect to the others.
Bumrah has scored 35 runs.
Yeah, you have Bumrah contributing, you have Shami contributing, Kuldeep also can bat. So it's just about how you look at things.
Right. About Pakistan, though we sometimes get too carried away with the India conversation. But Shaheen Shah Afridi did go off the field. When he walked off, he looked slightly uncomfortable. Do they play safe given that there's a big World Cup coming up? Do they bring in Mohammad Wasim Jr.? That's the other option they have. Do they look at an extra spinner? What do they do, Joy, for you?
I don't think they change very much. If Shaheen Shah Afridi is not fit, I completely agree with you. They'll go with Mohammad Wasim Jr. There's nothing else because again, they've finally hit upon a batting side that actually gives them consistency. Babar, Fakar, Imamul Haq, that top 3 is so good for them. Then you have Rizwan, and the all-rounders that they have with Shadab Khan out there. So there's so much that they have in terms of, variety in this team that I don't think they need to change. And again, they have a different formula. They go with their 3 really 2 all-rounder spinners plus a couple more support spinners and 3 really good fast bowlers.
Yes,
That's their formula.
Yeah.
But remember, they have at any time, they have 7 options really in bowling. And if you look at us, we probably have 6 options because you're looking at those 4 bowlers plus Hardik plus Ravindra Jadeja. So they probably have 1 more option. But that's because they just play more all-rounders than we do.
Same 11 for you, Zach, Pakistan?
Yeah, I think, if there is a forced change, then you don't have any control over. But other than that, I think the side which they played, which is the best side, they would want to play the best side against India. And that was the best side which they played.
See, I'll tell you one thing. I just want to go back. We have a selection meeting on the 5th. What selection meeting will be done on the basis of 1 match? So, the only thing that will be at question at all is how fit is Shreyas Iyer looking? Not even whether Shreyas Iyer is batting well or not batting well, because you can't judge that in 1 match. So, whatever decision you take, I do not think this 1 match is going to change it for you. Because if 1 match is going to change what you've been thinking about for 2 years, then Indian cricket is in more trouble than you think it is. Clearly not that. The only thing you will judge is, does Shreyas Iyer look fit enough, match fit enough to play? If it is, nothing else is going to be decided. Everything else has already been decided.
Pakistan play their second group game after a massive win against Nepal. Now, typically on Cricbuzz Live, after a preview, we ask our experts to give us their players to watch out for. How about we do 1 mini battle to watch out for? Just 1.
The battle.
I know what he wants from you.
What exactly?
He
No.
knows.
Now you got me curious.
No. Go for it, Zach. Nothing on my mind.
No, I think how Indian batting lineup is going to respond.
No, 1 versus 1.
1 versus 1.
Yep.
I think let's put Rohit Sharma versus Shaheen Afridi.
I like that.
Exactly what he
That's
wants.
going to
I
be,
like that.
Exactly what he
the
wanted.
most crucial battle, because you want to set the tone right. So both the bowlers, when you're looking at Pakistan team, Shaheen Afridi has been very consistent with the new ball, bringing that ball back into the right-hander, have been very consistent with taking that wicket in the first over. So you don't do that, and for that your openers have to respond. And so Rohit Sharma, if he responds it in his own style, then that is going to set the tone for the game for sure.
Look, I know that you have a direct line with Rohit. You guys are friends. But give us a left-arm pacer's perspective on Rohit, what Rohit should expect. Everyone talks about how the ball will come in. But can you help Rohit in some way so that he can perhaps face Shaheen better? Because we know what's coming.
It's a game. As in, you got to prepare yourself. You know exactly what batters' strengths are, batters' weaknesses are, what bowlers' strengths are, weaknesses are. So, that's how you go about it. It's on that day who is up for the battle matters. And I think, those are the aspects which bring the best out of people. So you've seen that Rohit, when he's in that zone, he responds to these situations very well.
Joy for you, mini battle.
So look, I've got two battles because he's already said, the main battle which is on every Indian's mind. But there are two other battles which I find interesting, one is Bumrah versus Babar Azam.
Wow.
Okay, that's something, it's a mouth-watering prospect because he's a great batsman and Bumrah has this ability to bowl some unplayable deliveries, and especially in swinging Yorkers, he can be unplayable at times. There's a second one which is of interest to me, which is to see how Shreyas Iyer plays against Haris Rauf. Because he's going to come in around, after the early bowlers have gone. And I'm sure whenever Shreyas walks into bat, they'll have somebody going at 150 at him. And I think whatever the Indian team needs to see of Shreyas, they'll see then and there, where he's up to and where he's at in his head. That's all they need to see right now.
Kuldeep versus Babar could be one to watch out for as well. I'm just thinking, should we even turn up at 2:30 on Saturday? Because we've just done a 45-minute long India-Pakistan preview.
No, we can go on and on.
We can go on and on. There's so much to talk about. So we will be back at 2:30 p.m. on Saturday with Cricbuzz Live. Not just in English, but in Hindi as well. It's going to be a full house. Yeah, I can see a very smiling, happy-looking Gaurav Kapoor in the house. Zach's looking like he's in the business zone. Parthiv Patel with his cherubic smile. DK with his 400-watt big smile. Mr. Bhogle. And I'll be there as well. It's Pakistan versus India. Remember to watch Cricbuzz Live in English and Hindi sharp at 2:30 p.m. But before we say bye, we need Joy to give us the answer to his Joy Factor question. Let's take a look at what it was.
And who's the first bowler to achieve the feat that Tanveer Sangha accomplished against South Africa? Tanveer Sangha, of course, had a sensational debut, took 4 wickets in debut in a one-day, in a T20 match. Of course, the first Indian to do it was your teammate, Pragyan Ojha, in 2009. So another Cricbuzz panelist, Pragyan Ojha is the answer.
Thumbs up from Joy Bhattacharya to who? Who is the winner of today's Joy Factor? Remember, there's going to be a one-day break and Rajat Bhargav can go and tell his friends and brag about it. He's got a thumbs up from Joy Bhattacharya. Joy, I believe you're taking a break on Saturday.
I am taking a break on Saturday. The tension is too much. I don't want to sit in the studio. I'd rather watch it at home.
But you still have to send us a Joy Factor. Who are you delegating the job to?
No, I don't delegate Joy Factor job. My name goes out there. My picture goes out there. I don't risk it from anybody else.
The producer must take note of it. Please don't mess with his picture. Now you know. The Joy Factor question will be asked on Saturday as well, but it's been fun. Thank you so much. I think I won the prediction game.
Yes, you did. 40 overs.
And we're going home early. Thank you to Sri Lanka for an early finish. Thanks, Joy. Thanks, Zach. And we'll see you on Saturday at 2:30 p.m. on Cricbuzz Live.